on? It's Eddie, and welcome Studio 104 with Sean of Blame My Youth. Dude, how's it going?
Dude, great. Thanks for having me, man.
So I first saw you perform for the first time 2 months ago. Was it 3 months? 2 months ago in Vegas.
Rowdy show.
Everyone went nuts. Well done. That was awesome.
Yep, we had nothing to drink before that.
So what I want to know is, I want to know the origin, because before Blame My Youth, there's been different versions of you.
Yep.
So let's start with the origin story musically here. Like your first band, because then there was a hiatus to before Blame My Youth as well.
Yeah, my first band, I was 12. So my grandpa started this band in Chicago called the Shannon Rovers, Irish bagpipe band. And I was 12 years old and I joined that.
Rocking the bagpipes?
Dude, no, I wish. I was doing just the tenor drum.
Okay.
So I did that, and then many, many years later, I started a band out of Chicago, Empires, and we toured like crazy, like a ping pong ball between New York and LA, but never could go international. And then I wrote, like, towards the end of the band, I kind of just decided I was done, and I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do because I don't have a degree or anything like that. And I'm like, I still want to play music. I want to be a songwriter. And a publisher pitched a song of mine that my band passed on to a TV show, coincidentally called Empire, and it was a song sung by Courtney Love, and it took me to LA. It's like the first cut I ever got. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna go like join a band and quit a band every day. So I moved to LA, and I was like doing songwriting until, I still am, but I was just writing songs with people until 2020, and when that happened.
And you were doing jingles too, right?
I started off like, there's a guy named Josh. He has a project called Nudes, and we just like, the first session we ever had, he's like, dude, can you just hold this crystal and go in the sunshine and maybe put this kimono on and wear these glasses and just freestyle. And I'm like, I've never done that before in my life. But I was over there and I'm just like, ooh la la la, ooh la la la. And it's just like making stuff up. And he put it together, and then we started getting like syncs, which we didn't even know really what that was other than the one that I've had.
Sure.
So we just started getting commercials like Apple and Samsung and Google, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we did one session with Oliver Tree in like 2018 or 2019, or it's 2018. And that's what got me into like writing with other artists. I love that day.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite days in the studio ever. I just hopped up on a couch, I'm playing guitar, Oliver's in the booth, and we're looking at each other, they're pressing record, and we just wrote a song on the spot. And he was like freestyling, and I'm like,
awesome.
Man, I want to do that. So started doing that and have been doing that. But when everything shut down, I'm like, man, I still got, like, I'm not really doing many sessions. I was doing Zoom with the band, with Fitz from Fitz and the Tantrums.
Sure.
We were finishing up his album. And right when that stopped, it's like, man, I don't really want to do the Zoom thing other than that, because those are homies. So I just started a band. And like, I sat on the edge of the bed. I'm like, I got pandemic angst, man. And the first song was fantastic. And you know, I feel beep, fantastic. And it just that chorus like came like right out. And I'm like, man, I think I want to do this again. I was like totally done and happy, because I'm like making a living doing music, which I was never able to do with the band. So I should backtrack. I watched 2 movies the night before that I wrote that song. I watched Trainspotting and Big Lebowski. And I'm
Great movies.
I'm like, dude, and I thought about it the day before I wrote that song. I'm like, man, I had to be visual about the sound. I'm like, I want to do like Big Lebowski rock, a little bit of UK.
Because 2 different styles of movies, so I figured your music would be all over the place after that.
A little over the top. Like the first vision was like a little bit over the top, but like still like, man, I always want to play like Glastonbury. So like a little Scottish, a little like UK. Sure. And I always wanted to go international because my last band never did that. So I wrote that song, had Big Lebowski rock, and then linked up with Big Loud, and it was all like making sense, and like, yeah. So I started the band then, and yeah, we don't have an album out yet, but we've been just trickling songs out, and then we have a new direction. I was in the studio with the producer, and he was having a crazy day, and I was, you know, I walked in there in the morning, and he's like, dude, he was like on a Zoom, and he had a lot of things going on. He's like, he puts it up, and I was supposed to go in there to record some songs. And I'm like, I just grabbed a guitar, and I went in the other room, and I just started playing like the chorus of the break. Like just fell out. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Maybe it's for somebody. I don't know. And then I walked in, and he was just like sitting there scrolling through his phone, like not typical of him. He was just like, and I'm like, all right, well, I got to break the ice. So I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, keeps me wide awake. And I'm like doing the chorus, and he just looks up. He goes, that's very good. Keep playing. And then he like starts throwing out lyrics, and it's the first time we've ever done that, because it was just, I would just write songs in LA and come in and record them with Joey in Nashville. And yeah, that like started this new thing. And I remember that day, I'm like, you know what, this is it's still got this like, you're gonna teeter any moment, still got the like the Big Lebowski aspect, but I'm like, this is more like beer in a wine glass. Like it still might spill it over.
Yeah.
Still gets you drunk, but it's a little like clean up. We clean up a little well. So
we got the origin story, but then we got the evolution in a way, because I feel like your sound of music from screamy to now, I don't want, what's the right word I want to use?
Beer in a wine glass.
But like that's it, or like it's a pop.
Yeah.
Rock, I don't want to say emo either, but it's a different style versus the screaming that we all know.
I'm just not yelling it. I'm just not screaming choruses. It's just a little more refined, a little more singing, like crooning almost. But like it's.
Was that conscious decision for you?
Just on that one song, it just kind of happened. And then we wrote another one. I'm like, man, I love this. Like I genuinely love not having to feel like you have to just really go for it every single time, because you want to see a show like that. Where someone's just yelling at you every time the chorus, maybe you want to see that. But
I mean, there's some folks that do, absolutely.
We have a little bit of that. But yeah, no, it was like so natural. And then all the songs that start coming out were easier to write. It's just kind of just.
Did that change your writing process because of that?
Yes, because now I go to Nashville and Joey and I hang out and we write songs. We were never doing that before. Nice. It would just be I would write the songs. And we became like this, I always say we're like the punk rock kind of beat up version of like Bernie Taupin and Elton John. It's like he's become like a lyricist. We do lyrics back and forth, but he's just become like, I don't know, kind of a muse for it all. And we're just like creating this kind of together. It's almost like we restarted the band with that song, The Break.
So your live performances, so with these songs now that are less yelly, have you seen a shift, and then how does that energy feed back to you on stage?
We just did our first headline shows in St. Louis and Milwaukee, and they were awesome, and people were great, but first half of the set is like the older stuff. We end with that song Prize Fighter.
Yeah.
And then we take a beer break in the crowd, with the crowd. We go there, we drink, we play I Come From a Land Down Under. That song just plays, and everyone's like, what are these guys doing? And we're just like literally drinking and talking with the crowd, and it's awesome. We come back and we start with that song Running. And then we do that set, the new set. So it's like you see two different sets.
All right.
And then we close with Fantastic, put a button on it.
So we were talking about your song that took you to Japan.
Yeah, Tokyo Rose.
Yeah, Tokyo Rose. I want to know more about that, because that video is pretty badass. Well, so how did that happen?
I'm not sure what I'm allowed to admit, but we started the day with microdoses of mushrooms.
All right. What could go wrong?
Yeah. We started and it was just really cool. I went in with Joey, and I think we went to go track another song. It's like, we're always supposed to get stuff done, but we start writing these days. But so I'm sitting there and he's scrolling, he's laughing. I'm like, dude, he shows me, he found this wormhole of this scene in Japan called samurai rock and roll, and they do a lot of 50s, 60s, Little Richard, there's greasers, and they're it's awesome. And there's this one dude that's eating a bowl of ramen and screaming into the mic and passing the ramen on stage. And we're like, what is this? The music's cool, the scene's cool. And it was taking place at this place called the Top Beat Club. And we're like, dude, this is awesome. Then we found this guy named, this band, Johnny Pandora, with this guy, Johnny Daigo. And he just dances, does the twist, better than I feel like they did it back in the 50s and 60s. Right. This guy is real deal. He's greaser, and I think he's just really kind of the central figure in what is the samurai rock and roll scene right now. But we found him, and we're just kind of zooming a little bit at this point, and he's dancing. I'm like, this is incredible. I just pick up a guitar and do this swing kind of thing, which we've never done, the dank, 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 dank.
Sure.
And then just start singing. I think the first line was here, Tokyo Rose in Bloom, and Joey's like, yeah. And then we just literally wrote the song lightning fast, just having a blast, but inspired on this guy and his band and this scene. And we even talked about the Top Beat Club. You can meet me at the Top Beat Club.
Nice.
And we write it really fast. And then while we're doing it, Joey's like, dude, you got to go to Japan and get this guy in the video. And then we write the treatment while we're finishing the second verse. So we're talking about
Did you get the label to pay for the trip?
He's part of the label too, by the way.
There you go, right.
So it's the guy who's that one of the heads of the label,
nice.
And also the producer. And he's saying, we're going to send you, you're going to go to Japan. And I remember leaving being there's no way they're going to send me to Japan for this. 3-4 months later, I'm in Japan. Johnny wanted to be in the video.
That's awesome.
Dude, it was awesome. And Johnny was incredible. He took the bull by the horns and got his director. He got all the extras, which, by the way, the extras, you see them in the video, it's this scene, they dress like that, 50s, 60s, every day of their life. It's not extras. This is
them.
The scenesters, the guy who has the leather jacket, the place that owns the clothing shop, I'm spacing on his name right now, he was in it, and all these people in the scene were just in it.
People from Greece.
Dude,
Just John
straight
Travolta
up,
and
they're living it.
That's wild.
Dude, one of my favorite moments is I walk up, and Top Beat Club is like a club, it's a bar, and it's also a cafe. And I walked up when we were filming, and I walked up, and they're all sitting there dressed in the 50s singing like that Sherry song, like Sherry baby.
Oh yeah.
It's like 20 people, 20 kids, like young 20s, all singing that, like just because that's what they're into.
You got a 21-year-old here. I don't know what that is.
Dude, I had a video of it. I watched it on the plane. I'm like, what? I feel like I got off in 2020. I got off the plane. Like I got on the plane in 2024 in Los Angeles and landed in Tokyo like 1961. It was
funny.
So sick.
So you've written a bunch of songs. You've gone to Japan, played with bands from out there. What's a dream collab for you? Like, who do you want to get in the studio and just do music with?
Oh my gosh, this is like almost cheesy to say. I feel like I've done it with Joey. Like Joey has been like I've known him for so long. Like he produced like so much stuff. Like he produced all like the Nickelback stuff, and then he produced like all like the Florida Georgia Line, the Morgan Wallen, and like for us to be writing songs is legitimately a dream for me. Like,
do you have a guilty pleasure song?
Like out there in the world right now. You know what song I was just singing the other day? I don't know if it's guilty pleasure, but I love the Ace of Base. I saw the sign. I was singing it the other day.
It's a catchy tune.
I'm like, I love this song, and I've been getting into like a lot of the 80s stuff, but like 80s and early 90s. But
would that be a song you cover randomly at a show one day? Just Ace of Base.
I saw the sign. We didn't have to have music. Everyone knows it. I would just start singing it.
That's awesome.
I was trying to think of a guilty pleasure. I don't know if that's not even it, but.
So you just started.
Baby Shark, maybe, because I have to sing it all the time.
That makes sense. I've been there. So you're on the road now. I get it. You got bath toys now.
I do. Trust me. And they don't shut off.
They don't stop.
In the middle of the night, they're going on. It's like
giving me nightmares again. Tour essentials. You're on the road now playing gigs. You were just in Milwaukee. What are some tour essentials? Like if you're playing somewhere, you must have or on your bus in your dressing room.
Pedialyte. Pedialyte is very important for the kind of touring that we have been doing.
What's your drink of choice then?
It's been tequila recently.
We could talk together for hours.
Now
that's another video podcast.
Yep. But yeah, that's the drink of choice. Oh, dude, honestly, Spotted Cow when I'm in Wisconsin.
Absolutely. You're a big Packer fan, huh?
I'm a big Packer fan. I know. I see.
Yeah, I got the orange and
the guy from Chicago. The real, you got the Chicago tattoo as well.
Look at that. We're getting along. We're getting together. It works out. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. We're solving the world's problems.
Dude, yes. My dad, like, he's the trader. He was like 10 years old when they won like their first Super Bowl, and he became a fan. But I was born and raised, like, I think there's a picture of me in a green and gold stocking because I'm born around Christmas.
Good for you.
So just born and raised Packer fan. But
You just got a bunch of fans now.
I love it. I'm obsessed. I'm in Lombardi country right now, so I had to wear that. But
well done. I saw on the bio you've done many festivals like Lala, whatever. So I think we're coming into festival season now. A bunch of them in the area. Summerfest, the big one in Milwaukee. For you, what is a survival tip for festivals?
Dude, survival tip for festivals: drink a lot of water and Pedialyte. Did I say Pedialyte yet?
I think you have.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't know. Just stay hydrated. Don't do mushrooms. Don't do drugs. Drink a little bit if you're of age.
Love it. Well, Sean, I appreciate it, dude. Congratulations, top 20. I think you're at 19 or 18 this morning. The break is fantastic, and Play My Youth. I appreciate it, dude.
Dude, I appreciate that.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.